What is up, guys? Welcome to another episode of the Smart Flip, episode 14, the Phone Flippers podcast. All right, guys. Today we got Navon on. So you guys probably heard me talk a little bit about Navon on the past couple of episodes, just because he's kind of, embodied what we recommend, even taking it like 10 times further than what we, told him to do in the beginning. So today we're going to be talking about how Navon did you said $43,000 in profit, Navon, in the past 3
43.
weeks.
A little bit over, but flatline, yeah.
All right, cool. And just for the people that they're gonna ask to be like, is that profit or sales? It's profit, right?
Profit, yes.
Cool. All right, awesome. So, dude, let's start here. How'd you get into phone flipping, dude?
Um, well, I got into phone flipping because I wanted to find a way to pretty much escape the classical 9 to 5. And I've known about it for about 2 years. And really around, 3.5, 4-ish months ago, the idea popped up more for me. And I was like, you know what, I'm gonna try this out. And I was going, and then the first sale I did, I believe it was a 14 Pro. I made like 200 off of it, and I just like in my mind, I was like, "Yep, I like it." Yeah, I mean, not a crazy special story, but I just got into it because I was, very intrigued by the business model with devices.
Yeah, it's hard to whenever you work an hourly job. I've noticed, like, once you figure out that you can make $200, you know, without doing the hours, it changes the game a little bit in your brain. You know, it goes from because I remember whatever happened for me. I was at the restaurant waiting tables, and I made my first sale like while I was serving, and I went to the bathroom, checked my phone, and mine wasn't $200. It was like $40. You know, and I was like, okay, yeah, but that's like 3 tips at the restaurant. You know,
Mm.
so I was like, all right, game has changed now a little bit for me. Um, it's time to look a little bit further into this thing. So,
Hmm.
Matt, what was your first? I never asked you, Matt. Like, what was your first flip, dude?
My first flip was actually I had a Kelty carrier for my kid. It was like a backpack
Oh,
that you haul a kid around in. And I had it in my garage and I put it on eBay and it sold 2 days later and I made like 120 bucks.
Well,
yeah. So it's interesting how people get into the game, and it all stems back to like I didn't have to work this 9 to 5 hourly thing to get that. So that was your first flip. Moving on, you found me on YouTube. You signed up for Resell Deck. You got in Recelerator, and then you started taking action immediately. We were just
found
talking.
you off the ad actually.
You found me off an ad.
Yeah, I told you that last time.
Oh,
Yep,
well, that's good to know.
it was a YouTube ad that went towards your YouTube channel, I think.
Oh, dude, I
I
ran
think
those like a year ago.
I think that's what it was. I honestly I can't really remember. It
Yeah,
was either YouTube or a YouTube ad, but yeah.
cool. Well, that's good to know. That's good for me. Good data. All right, awesome. So, anyway, I'm assuming you started watching my videos on YouTube.
Yes.
Okay. What was the thing that stood out to you the most watching those videos and kind of kept you moving forward with the phone flipping?
Well, the idea of split testing in Facebook ads, you had a specific video on it with split testing, how it works and why it works. And it was very clear for me. I've seen other people talk about running ads for like buying all phones for cash, but nothing really explaining why it works and really the science behind it, but you explained it, and that kind of gave me confidence.
So I
Yep.
gave you sauce and built trust.
Yes, exactly.
Awesome, love that. Good stuff. So moving then, I know you reached out to me and you were excited. Like you were like, dude, I'm ready to go. Like,
Yeah.
and and then so you sign up. We obviously get into the recelerator cadence of everything, and then you you almost quit. I want to talk about that story here real quick. Like I remember You bought, I believe it was a fake phone, if I remember correctly.
Yep.
And let's talk about that. Like, what was running through your mind whenever you bought that phone, and
Mm.
why did you almost quit?
So keep in mind, everyone, I was already working for a job providing for my house. And to be honest, I didn't have a lot of money. Like, I was pretty short. And I was starting this business avenue on the side, and I was making money here and there. And it was crazy. Like a week after I bought Chris's program, I was so excited because I made like $700. And then I bought this 15 Pro Max and I didn't check it all the way. I was so excited. I was buying it for like $500. I was about to make like 400 at the time. And I was like, man, let's go. And then the phone wasn't charging. It was like, it was like turned off. And then he was like, oh yeah, don't worry. It's probably just this charging cable. Just take it home. Just I'll give you my personal number if it doesn't work. And I was like, oh, okay, let me get your personal number. I got his personal number. And then I drove back home so excited. And I looked at it a little bit. I was like, this kind of looks weird, but I guess that's how the 15 Pro Maxes look because I never had a 15 Pro Max before. So imagine so excited. And I get back home to charge it, turn it on. It's all laggy and slow. And then I'm like, bro, this can't be right, right? And then I looked at it more, and then it was Android software.
Yeah.
So it was a brick phone. So I lost just like that $600. I immediately texted Chris, and I was like, bro, I'm gonna have to quit this. I just lost 600 plus the 497 I just paid you. That put me down 300, and I haven't really worked on my actual job for this past week because I wanted to take that risk. I was like, bro, I'm down bad. Like, I don't know what to do. So I texted Chris. I was like literally about to be done. Like I had to go back to work. And I don't know why. I don't know why. What Chris was saying to me. I was like, you know what, I'm gonna just hold it down. And it was depressing, bro. I was so angry. I was literally on the verge of like just deleting everything and just going back to normal life. Yeah. It was bad.
No,
That
I
was
remember it.
that was bad.
I remember that conversation because it was late into the night too, where you were texting me, like,
Yeah.
but like I was like, dude, I can't let this because I've seen this before, like many times, and I've been down the road myself. And like the thing is like what you guys don't understand is a lot of you guys are gonna have moments like that. Everybody watching this, like if you're in this business, the thing about business is you're gonna screw up. Like it's going to happen, and it's gonna happen more than once. On top of that, like you got it. Like the thing about it is like you step in that hole, but you just got to remember to not step in it again, right? And that's the game. Like just learn your way around the holes, learn your way around the booby traps, right? Like that's how it works. Um, so like yeah, I mean there was a whole talking you off the cliff moment that night. I was like, bro, just keep going. It's
Keep going.
okay. It's gonna
I
be
was like, bro, how am I about to keep going? I was like,
all
I'm done for.
right. So I mean, a lot of you guys are going to have that moment, and I think honestly, dude, that's probably. I mean, we talked about this a little bit before the call. I think that that anger that you felt really is what drove you to where
Yeah.
you are. Like, Hormozy talks a lot about like work with what you got, and I know you listen to him and everything. So he's like, if you got anger, go with it, like run with it. It's energy. And I think a week later, you messaged me and like, dude, it's all right. Like, I'm doing okay now. I picked up all these phones and like,
Yeah, I made it all back the next week, plus more.
yeah, exactly. So, Matt, you got anything to ask on that? Like, I know you go pretty deep. So,
Yeah, well, I think moments like that, they're sink or swim moments, right? It's fight or flight. You're either going to get back in the game or you're going to run away from it. And it's interesting that you kind of walked, I mean, you towed the line. You walked up to that line and you said, all right, like if I cross this line, I'm just going back to this 9 to 5. So,
Yeah.
like, ultimately, I guess what kind of under the surface there was sort of like turning the gears in your brain or maybe in your will to be like, maybe I should give this another try. Like, because taking a loss or a hit that early in the game can be kind of devastating when you don't have in your mind when you're once you're a reseller. Like now, you've got all those experiences, how you can make so much more money doing other things. Like
Yes.
I could buy this, I could buy this, I could sell to that guy. But at that point, you didn't have that at all.
Yeah.
So what kind of roped you back in?
Thinking about my future and what I'm going to
Mm,
be doing for my family, to be honest. Am I going to be working the hours I'm working at a normal job, or am I going to want to be flexible and free with my time to be able to do the things I want to do and not be a slave to the system? That's what motivated me a lot because, even in my past, when I was really young, I was a pretty big YouTuber, for gaming, actually. I don't know if you guys knew
cool.
that, but
Nope, nope.
Know that.
yeah, I was a really big YouTuber. I had over 200,000 subscribers. And this was in high school. I almost didn't graduate because I wasn't going to school and stuff like that. And I took a big risk by doing that. My parents were so mad at me. And then they saw I was making a lot of money. Um, that kind of went to an end because I had to, I got kicked out of my parents' house and I had to move out like 17. It was crazy. But I always had that drive in the back of my head, like, I'm not going to say gamble, but risk to reward. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Taking the risk because I know the infinite possibility of the outcomes of what could happen, especially with a business that has to do with buying and selling phones, which will never go away. Like I know when I started this, I knew what I was getting into. Like phones are always going to be here in the United States.
Mhm.
Yep.
There's always going to be a demand for devices, whether it be phones, whether it be, bro, we're heading into a technology era. And like, even if phones stop, bro, we got consoles, we got headsets, we got cables you can sell for $70 on eBay. Like, are you kidding me? Like this, bro, this
You're not
business.
wrong.
I see Matt smiling. He's the one who got me to make like 150 off of this one like Oculus Rift headset. Like, bro, it's crazy. Like, it's infinite possibilities to be honest. And that's really what motivated me. I was like, I'm not gonna give up. I know what this can do.
That's cool. I'm curious then, like you said, you made it all back plus extra in the next week.
Yeah.
What was your what was your like literal like next step? Like what were you like, okay, what was the next deal you went and got after you had that like heartbreak deal where you're like, I'm out.
Yeah, well, it
I'm
definitely wasn't.
$300 in the hole.
It definitely wasn't. Going back to chasing the 15 Pro Maxes. I was looking at the younger models. I never bought one. I don't even know what they looked like. So I was just like, let me just go to the older models a little bit.
Mhm.
I don't really have a lot of money, so I'm gonna just buy a bunch of XRs and 11s. So I targeted those,
Yeah.
and I also got like a few like PS4s, and I was like just going slowly, and then I pretty much with literally XRs, 11s, and regular 12s iPhones, I just made all the money back, and then right after I passed break even, I implemented kind of in my system this referral program
Yeah.
into my company,
I
which
want to talk a little bit about
yeah,
that.
that bro, that is imagine I was like down money. Bro,
Yeah.
I'm not even kidding. In 1 week, I made almost like 2.3 grand. Like just that like took me off. And I still have it elevated in my business. Like that's what really carried me for, to the point where it decreased so much on my reach outs because I have so much repeat business.
Yeah.
Like that just took me to the next level.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're going to talk about that in a minute because I've actually added a little bit to that myself now. I'm actually getting people to bring other people with them to the
Wow, it
meetup
worked out.
now. So it's actually worked. Like I'm like, hey, if you bring this other person with their devices, I'll pay you $10 per device right now in front of them, and then that gets them excited. You know.
Yeah.
So, but so I want to talk about the reach out thing here real quick. I'm assuming you were like insanely angry, like that you got scammed and everything. Um, dude, you took the reach out game to like, so we recommend 20 a day in reseller. Like that's the minimum. You went to 120 a day. You did 3,000, I believe it was 3,600 reach outs
Yeah.
your very first month in the
Yes.
game. Let's like that's more than most people do the entire 6 months in reseller. Like that's insane.
Yeah.
So let's talk about that a little bit. What made you do that? Like, was it
Hmm.
just anger or was it just like,
It was a mixture of the anger and a quote that you actually said when you were saying like, think about every single message as you making $3.
oh,
And that like I was like, every message I send, I'm making minimum $2 because eventually I'm gonna get to someone, I'm gonna make that deal.
yeah,
And I just, bro, I pick up the phone, Wolf of Wall Street, pick up the
yeah,
phone and keep dialing, baby. That's all I had in my mind. I was like, keep going. I was literally like a robot, like no emotion to it. Like I would just keep going, keep going, keep going, negotiate, negotiate, negotiate. And I was just like, bro, like this. And I'm in a pretty good area. I'm blessed to be in. Like, the DMV is pretty hot.
Yeah, you're also in a difficult area too. Like we have
Difficult.
multiple students in that area.
A lot of demand, but at the
Yeah,
same time, a lot of other people are doing the same thing I'm doing.
yeah.
So
Which is
it's
a good thing because that's, let's be real. Most phone flippers don't run an actual business. Like, let's just be
true.
real. So
Most of
it's
them
very
are.
That's
easy.
fair.
Yeah,
That's fair.
it's true.
So
And I was just like, I'm gonna work harder than every single other one of these phone flippers. I know I'm going to, because ain't none of these people got what I got in my mind. My mindset's different, and I knew that because nobody else is sending 114 messages out per day on OfferUp and Facebook in different times. Like I would drive to locations, for example, to pick up devices, not just iPhones, by the way, guys. It was multiple things. And then I would put in 5 mile radius from that location, let's say 30 minutes away from where I live. And then boom, I'd send out like another 30 messages. Kind of like door dashing, you know what I'm saying?
that's
Going to
insane. Like, that's
Yeah, I
awesome.
would go to a place, send out 30 messages, wait like 15, 20 minutes, maybe two people will respond to me down. I'd pick up those two devices, and then I was like 15 minutes away. Then I'd put in 5 mile radius again with OfferUp and Facebook, and then I'd smash send out messages, bro. That's how I would go from place to place to place, just like that.
Yeah, just hopscotch across the sea. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. And bro, I went to some cool places. Like I love traveling. So to me, it hasn't felt like a job. Like being honest, I at first, yes, but then I got to the point where I really started liking what I was doing, and I feel like that's very important. In this business, it's very easy to enjoy what you're doing. When you're
Yeah,
meeting people, it's up to you, and it's your choice if you want to make it fun or not. You know, and that's I chose to make it fun for myself. Driving places, like exploring. Sometimes I'd eat at random places. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't mind doing that.
that's cool. I like that.
Yeah,
That is kind of like DoorDash if you look at it that way, except you're making
yeah,
a whole lot more money.
yeah, a whole lot more money.
So much more. Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
like, so I used to do Uber back in the day, right? And I would see all these really cool places, like, and I actually did it a while back just to kind of get, because I did it just for a mindset reshift, right? Because I was getting bored with something, and I told Matt about this a while back. Like, I re-signed up and I did like a night of Uber out until like 2 a.m. and I was like, this is cool. The driving is cool, but this also sucks at the same time. Like the
Yeah,
money was not like I was like, dude, I could just flip one phone, and it was a very good like I like to do things like that, like a reset. It's like
yeah,
you go back in time to what you used to do, and you're just like,
yeah.
oh, I didn't realize what I had. You know, like when
Mhm.
you realize you can go flip one phone, make $80 to
Oh, it's
100.
great. That's like 5 hours of that. It's crazy.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm just like, oh man, like, nope, back phone. I'm blessed. You know, like
Yeah.
Bro.
I'm blessed to have this skill set. So let's talk about the items that you were reaching out for. Like whenever we had our interview, whenever you made that first 7,100 in profit, you were telling me you were reaching out for like projectors and all
Everything.
sorts of stuff, dude.
I bought
Like
a drill. I bought a drill and sold it on eBay. Made like 30.
that's
Let's go.
awesome.
I'm here for it.
So let's get a list here of the types of items that you were buying on that reach out method. Because there's going to be people in the comments on YouTube and everything being like, I can't do 120 reach outs a day.
Nah,
Like,
bro. Yeah, no, it's
what were the devices you were aiming for? Like the top five.
okay. Well, obviously, number one would be iPhones. Number two would be Samsung Android devices. Then number three would be consoles, like, you know, Oculus Rift or PS4, PS5, Xbox. And then that was number three. I just said, yeah. And then number four would be, projectors or, laptops. And I wouldn't do computers, just laptops.
Yeah.
It would be laptops and projectors. And then fifth would be like, I made some decent money off cables and different yard sales. I mean, sometimes people had like um, TVs. Like there's actually one TV. I wish I could change my camera around in my room. I got a TV for like $20. It's like a $300 TV. But there was a few of TVs I did. I made like 70 off of by selling them back on Marketplace. Like,
Yeah.
it. like
Yep.
the range is a lot of stuff I bought. You know, the drill. I bought the drill like I was just mentioning. Um,
Dude, I've bought a lot of tools before, and I've
I'd
made
say in terms of the best profit margin out of everything I've gotten, it's by far the consoles.
yeah.
Like the
Well,
Oculus Rift, 100% the best profit margins.
oh,
No,
easily.
no questions asked.
It sells quick too, like the whole thing.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
Matt, I mean, Matt over here is the console king. By the way, for those
yeah.
of you that are watching this during today, we got the console masterclass coming up next Tuesday. Limited spots left, by the way. So like best ROI in terms of just buying obviously console or VR.
Yeah.
And funny enough, the Rift S is like what? When was that made, Matt? Like 2018? Like
The Rift S came out in 2018, 2019.
crazy. Something that old can be so profitable. It's wild.
What's interesting is the Valve Index is equally as old as the Rift S.
Oh, well, nice. Um, so you did 120 ish, so it was 114 reach out today, I guess.
Average. Yeah, we did that calculation before. Those are on that.
That's a lot of conversation. How? So I know some people are going to ask this question. How are you able to keep up with that many conversations?
Good question. Well, first off, not all 114 people would respond
Yeah,
today.
like 50%, huh?
50% maybe, which is like, you know, like 65 to 75 people would respond. And then the amount of people that would actually hold out a conversation was maybe 30 to 40 people. And then the actual amount of like people like talking about prices and agreeing on a meetup was maybe like 10
Yeah,
people, 10 to 15. So when you
everything
think
comes.
about it, reaching out to 114 people, like messaging conversations back and forth, like 40 people a day, it's not as difficult as you would think. Um, you know, because when I would meet up with people, I would wait for like 15 minutes to respond to everyone. Then I'd drive to the next person, respond to everyone. Like I wasn't trying to respond to everybody at once. I like they were playing in my casino. You know what I'm saying? Like people were waiting on me. I didn't care. You know, it's gonna be impossible for me to be texting while I'm driving. I'm not trying to I actually did crash my car, not because of that, but you know, I wasn't trying to crash my car to text and drive people. I would stop when I'd meet with people, then text. That's what I did. That's how I got it. I mean, it's anyone can do it. If you really don't think you can do 115 reach outs a day, then you know, I wouldn't say that until you actually try because it's possible. I literally did that. You know, it's to the point where I couldn't even track it on the KPI sheet because I was
Yeah,
doing so much. I couldn't track it.
I
I think that's
something I
what,
think.
yeah.
Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead.
But I was saying, I think the best thing to do is to try to overwhelm yourself with how much people you're talking to. That's what I was doing. Because if
Yeah.
I'm having conversation with 10 people a day, bro, that's not overwhelming. That's manageable. I
yeah.
want to make
Mhm.
that number like 30, 40 to the point where it's like, so many people that want to like sell their stuff, you know?
Well, it's like
Yeah.
planting seeds, right?
Yeah.
Like that, and that's what I always call the reach out method. In my experience, anyway, is like you just plant the seed, let them know that you buy stuff, and I want to. Well, Matt, you go ahead, and then I have a question about your like reaching out to people that had like things listed for
Yeah.
18.
Um,
I'll let you
I,
go first. Your question.
I think it's interesting that there were kind of two thoughts I had in my head. First of those is a lot of people, the limitation capacity is simply like it's just a limiting belief or barrier in their own brain, right?
Yeah.
Everybody at one point or another has gone into a gym and tried to max out. I wonder if I can lift this much weight, right? Put the weight on the bar, get under the bar. All right, try to squat that. All right, I couldn't squat that, but let me see how much I can get, right? And so suddenly you kind of push these boundaries of what you think is possible because you're testing everything at once. And I kind of look at what you did like as sort of that thing like, all right, let's get in this car, let's push the gas pedal to the floor and see how fast it'll literally go. And can I sustain at this pace? Okay, now I know what that was like. Now let me kind of govern this back. I think long term, the sustainability of doing that many reach outs would be insane, be like pouring acid on your
Yeah,
brain. But I also think that short term, it is going to provide so much like actionable evidence or evidence that you took action with in a very small amount of time that it's going to take whatever you felt like before was the standard, it's going to push that by like 10 times, which is essentially the results that you got. It was like 10 times the result. And so like, for everybody that hears this, listens this, or, it catches up with your story, Navon, like, is this the common amount of, is this the common result? No, but it's also not the common effort. The,
Yeah.
the second, the second thing that I think is fascinating is even when you were doing, like, before you started your referral method, when you were doing that certain reach out method, you kind of took the momentum of each deal and parlayed that into the next deal, which I think is huge in terms of the way it feeds your motivation and excitement to keep going. It's
Yeah.
like, that the one domino hit and you were focused on just the next domino. You know what I mean? It was
Yeah.
like boom, boom, boom. And you set yourself up for this sort of almost early on, this kind of automated level of success, which I think is a really cool, like nuanced way of thinking. Because it's like, how do I just keep myself focused on the next target? All
Yeah.
right, cool. I'll take this target and use it to identify the next one. And I think that that is like, to me, that's a lot of fun. I'll set up deals sometimes and I'll be like, all right, I'm going to go to this town, but I'm not going to get one deal. I'm going to get three or five, boom,
Exactly.
boom, boom. And then I come back to the crib and I'm like, cool, that was so chill. And I got like way more than I intended. And when you come back with all that stuff, oh my gosh, man, I don't know if there's something more exciting. Chris, I know you know what I'm talking about, Navon for sure. Like to come back and have like all those goodies and then like you start listing them and the sales start popping off. And I think
Yeah.
that snowball of momentum and the way that you mentally engage yourself and keep feeding your focus to stay in that direction is so big in this industry. And I just thought that that was so super cool, man.
Absolutely. Hey, and like, bro, I was sending all the pictures in the Slack group chat in the win sales.
Yep.
Like when I was doing it, it's all there. I was sending
There.
picture after picture after picture. Like, yeah, me meeting up with like one person getting like 6 phones and another, then another. Like I was posting them. And that also kept me motivated, being in a community with other people like
Yeah.
being like, hell yeah, bro, keep it going. That
Mm.
that also hyped me up, communion with the brothers, man, and just like all of us like supporting each other. That helped me with motivation a lot too. Can't lie.
Yeah. I mean,
Sure.
it's, this is why I like being in a community is because like I can talk to people that understand what I'm going through or what I have gone through or they've already gone through it, you know. This is why I like networking with people that are higher than me too, right? Like big buyback people like Hayden Howard and Matt Senta and like all these other guys, like they've been through these things
Yes.
and they have very simple answers most of the time for it. But I
That's
want to I
true.
want to it's most of the time it's just like do more. I'm like, oh, that's cool. There's no secret sauce really. It's just like more volume. I'm like, okay. So I want to talk a little bit about you started doing this thing that and you dude, it's amazing how many things you can fall into when you're doing volume. Like you can fall into just like strategies very quickly when you're just putting the volume in. And you started reaching out to people that had their phones listed for like half a year or a
Yeah.
year. And I had never done that. And when you brought that up, it actually made a lot of sense because these people are being very humbled by the market at this
Yeah.
point. So
Yeah.
let's talk about that. What and yeah, let's talk about that. Like what got you into doing that? Because I never even thought of that.
I mean,
Just
even some days I made a lot of money, and to me it wasn't enough. And I would go on Marketplace and be like, I've already hit up all these people. Mm, how am I going to hit up more? And then I remembered, okay, there's a lot of people who have old postings. I know no one's hitting up on them anymore. So we literally would scroll down. I would type in model by model and then go on most recent, and then I would scroll down and bro, there's I mean hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of posts of old phones, and I would hit every single one of them up, and that really it really worked. I mean,
it works so well to a point where I'm working with Marketplace Monitor to get them to actually find deals like that now
yeah,
that have been listed for so and so weeks, because now we realize thanks to you really like these people um they don't like the market has humbled them. Like nobody's talking to them, nobody's reaching out. their iPhone 13 is listed for $500. Nobody's hitting that up, like, so if you're the only one that has interest, they're going to be like, oh, wow, I guess, you know,
Yeah, they're not going to try to barge on price if they've already failed. Like, yeah, just most of the
I
time they're
think
not.
I think that's a really cool exploit because the thing that I talk about a lot in this industry is we make our money based on like human nature,
yeah,
right? I talk about it in consoles. Like people chase the stuff that's overhyped. They chase the stuff that's vintage and cool. They don't really like to go for the stuff that's in between. But I think in the same concept with this, like it's human nature to look at marketplace and go, oh my gosh, dude, that's 39 weeks. It's been sitting there. That deal's gone, right? And the only reason that it's gone is because I said it's gone, right? What if it's not gone, right? And the amount of people that do that versus the people that are like, well, let's just message them. Like I tell the story sometimes when we do our console calls about how I reached out to a guy who had a Valve Index for sale, and the deal had been listed for 48 weeks on Facebook Marketplace. And I messaged him and he was haggling with me. I'm like, dude, it's been listed 48 weeks and you want to haggle? Like, um, I, I bought that deal from him 6 weeks later for $300 less than he wanted for it. It came with 3 Vive trackers, and I ended up making $800 off that deal. And I bought it 54 weeks after he had listed
That's
initial
almost a
time.
year, man. That's crazy. Yeah, that's
wow.
more than a year.
Right? It's wild, but the things that I think it's just cool. Like prove yourself wrong. Message the dude anyway. All right, that deal's still available.
Yeah,
Go
prove
pick it up
yourself wrong. Yeah,
for sure.
I like
good,
that.
good term right there.
I want to move into your referral method here a little bit,
Yeah.
because, dude, I was talking with Anthony the other day. Anthony's been in the game for a while. He's a six-figure
Mhm.
flipper, and I was telling him, and I was telling him kind of like what you do and how I was looking to get people to come with other people, and he's like, oh, so you're basically just starting a multi-level marketing company just for
Yeah,
phone flip. And I was like, bro, like I didn't even see that.
yeah, that's kind of
he's,
what it
he's
is.
like, get your guy to bring two, get those guys to bring two, and then those guys to bring two. And I'm like, bro, it's a pyramid scheme just for like phones. Like
That's funny.
it's not
Well,
a
not a
pyramid scheme,
pyramid
it's a
scheme.
triangle. You know?
You're still providing a value.
Exactly. Yeah. No. Yeah. I'm just saying, just for people that are going to be watching, that way they
Yeah,
can, get that one to bring two, and then one of those and those two to bring two, and then it turns into like nine. You know.
yeah.
So let's talk about that. You fell into this, and I know your back was against the wall, and like you were like, I need to figure out how to make deals from deals. So let's talk about that a little bit.
Mm. Yeah, I mean, with the referrals, what I would do is I would meet with these people and I would tell them like, hey, listen, um, I don't know if you're looking for like a little side hustle, but if you can bring over to me, phones from friends or family, I can actually pay you back for those devices. And then be like, what are we talking? I'd be like, oh, I could pay you back like 150, for example, if you bring me 10 phones from friends or family. Sometimes it would vary, like either $10 per device or, just it would vary, but I would do that. And sometimes I would even tell people like, hey, text the family group chat. Chris knows about this one. Text the family group chat. I'll add $5 onto it right now. Here's my company website. And bro, it was working, man. When I tell you, like, people love the idea of getting paid to
Yeah.
get to literally like it's like nothing. Hitting up your friends like, yo, like I would do that if someone was offering that to me. You
Yeah.
know what I'm
For
saying?
sure. Extra
Like,
money.
yeah, exactly. And for some people right now, I have under like a commission now. I'm not really working flat anymore at like $10 per unit. It's more like I'm offering people, giving them like commission off of the phone. For some people who are bringing me phones from like
Yeah.
friends and family, it eventually stops because these people don't have infinite amount of friends. But
Yeah.
like it helps boost your profit per meetup so much more when you tell them, yo, if you got friends right now who got extra phones, bring them with you. I'll pay you extra money for that. And bro, it would really, really kick my business off a lot.
There's a
That's
way.
fantastic.
This actually just hit my brain again. We had a guy back in the very first phone flipping program that I ever fought with David Kosciuszko. His name was Eric Strand, and he what he would do is he made a killing off of Instagram, like when Facebook ads and everything were like super duper cheap a couple years ago. But But what he would do is he would take the people he got from the ads and he would get their Instagram handle and he would tag them in his story. Be like, so and so just sold their phone, and it would show that to all of their friends on their Instagram profile. And he was getting leads for nothing. So it kind of reminds me of that a little bit. Just you were
Yeah.
doing it in a physical way, but you can also just it's hard to like take all of these strategies and put them into one, right? Like you gotta test it out. But it's also nice having a community to help kind of test things
Very
out.
true.
Yeah.
Like I can just hit up people like you and Anthony and Aaron and be like, hey, try this out for me, you know? Because what might work for me doesn't always work for everybody. But that is something you can try, dude. You can just get their handle, tag them in Instagram on your whatever, and it'll
Yeah.
show your friends. I don't know how effective it is now, just because the algorithms have changed a little bit. But
I mean, if you have a decent amount of followers, like real followers, I
yeah,
think that could do good if you have like a friend community
yep,
Mhm.
area. Absolutely. I mean, and one thing I wanted to share too in regards to referrals, like a lot of people might be demotivated from like, I don't want to message 100 people all the time. I probably hit up 3 or 4 people now a day. And that's only off of Marketplace Monitor. I don't even do reach outs
yeah,
anymore.
yeah,
Like
because you get
only
to the
for
point where you
insane
don't have.
deals, only for profitable deals beforehand. I don't like, I really now at this point, I just, I built my network up so much from doing those reach outs to the point where now I barely even like go on go on marketplace like that. Like it's just repeatable now. So think about it. You sacrifice
Yeah,
1 to 3 months, you're like working to the point where you're living off repeat business. I mean, it's you meet suppliers, you meet buyers, you meet people, and then it gets to the point where you just kind of chill and you just only utilize those platforms for good deals, which is what I do, like
Yeah.
fill-ins. Yeah.
so it's interesting because like um this business is all about connections. Like that's the whole game at this point, right? And it reminds me of a quote from Hormozy where he talks about that exact thing about putting in just an egregious amount of work in a very short amount of time, and he's like, it's not forever, it's just for now, right? And you get to that point where you have all of these connections, and you don't. And I did this with Facebook ads, so I did it in a different way. I just, shot my ad spend up to $100 a day and was getting a ridiculous amount of leads per day. And I was able to build my network so fast at
It's the
that
same
point.
thing.
It's the same thing, right? Like you're just getting a stupid amount of conversations going at one time. And then it gets to the point where those people send you people, and then you don't have time to do the reach outs anymore. Like there's no need. Like I don't have to do reach outs. I got enough repeat customers. My Google is popping. Like all my stuff is happening. I don't have to do that. I get deals daily from my pawn shops. I get deals daily from my stores. I get deals daily from Google. You get to the point where you can coast a little bit, but it took a ton of work up front. And if a lot of you guys listening would just take the amount of hours that you spend working right now, your 8-hour day, and put it into this business, on a week, on even 2 days a week, you'd be surprised what can happen in a
Yeah.
very short amount of time. I mean, and that's
True.
basically what you did, Navon. You took your working. I think in the beginning, like you were calling off work to make deals happen, if I remember
Yeah.
correctly. Like you did whatever it took, like, and that's what a
Hey,
lot of,
good for you, bro. Good for you. For
you,
real.
know,
It
you
was
were
it was
like,
stressful, bro. It was stressful. I was like, man, I gotta do this.
so, um, and now you're at $43,000 in profit in 3 months.
Yeah.
So you're job free. You can basically, what does the days look like now? Like, let's go over that. Like, what does your typical day look
My
like?
schedule. This is my schedule. I mean, I wake up around 7:30 a.m. I don't put alarms. I wake up usually whenever.
Nice, huh?
It's nice. I'll wake up sometimes 7, sometimes 8. In between there, never earlier or later. I wake up, I pray and I make sure, I'm set for the day and I brush my teeth, everything, take care of myself. I actually don't eat breakfast.
Me neither.
I fast for breakfast, yeah. And then I have my whole day scouted after I'm like centered with myself. And then, I say goodbye to the family. I head out for work at around 9 o'clock, 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. And then I have all my coordination scheduled out in my portal and all my clients with my personal number and my business number. I usually will meet up with all those people for about 6 to 7 hours. And then I'll get back home, around 7, 8 o'clock. And then I'll have all my devices gathered. I'll put them in my spreadsheet and then I'll coordinate meetups for the next day.
Yeah, there we go.
So then, yeah, my meetups are coordinated with my suppliers. And then I'll either, if I have a big bulk of units that I have to ship overseas or list on eBay, I'll do that at night. And then I pretty much eat dinner with family, go back to sleep, and then process repeats, and it's pretty nice. And I'll hit the gym as well at night too. I hit the gym at night. I don't go in the mornings anymore. I'll go like late, like after dinner sometimes, and then get home and sleep. So I get around like 7 hours of sleep, 8 hours of sleep, but I'm working a lot.
Well, yeah, the gym is a good. So like I used to do that a lot. I work out in the middle of the day now, but like whenever I was really putting the work in during the day, the gym was a really good decompression of the day for me.
Yeah.
Like it's like you can just kind of let out any frustrations you have during the day. Like you just let it out at the gym, you know. so, so I love that. So you're still working a good amount, but it's a little bit more coordinated. And one thing you said there that resonates really well with like what I used to do in the past is you coordinated all of your stuff at night.
Yeah.
Like so a lot of what I do, and I still do a lot of it, is just like follow ups and maybe some reach outs and things like that, and just coordinating meetups for the next day.
Yes.
That's a lot of like how I do things. I usually do it around like 5, like to end the day off well. It's just like, hey, we didn't get a meetup today, whatever, you know. And be like, hey, I'll be meeting people at 12 and 5 tomorrow, and I'll just coordinate the meetup for the next day. That way, I have people already ready.
Yeah.
Because then you can have those people the same day that want to meet too, and then those people will show up at the same time. So
Yep.
that it's so crazy, like how people's schedules like mold into like the same thing over time.
Yeah.
Just what I've seen.
And it's comfortable, man. It's good. Like I have no complaints. I feel very blessed, and it's just like it's automated at this point. I want to expand. I'm looking to get more into marketing,
Yeah,
you know, through ads, yes, but also, I kind of for one of my I was talking about I have a shoe reselling friend and he's huge, bro. His company's really big and they do like cool promotions with specific like clothing artists and like they pop off like that and I'm trying to get a partnership with one of my friends who does fashion modeling to do it with like phones, some cool like little mix up, trying to get like partnerships, stuff like that to grow my brand because I want to grow eventually my personal brand, like my name. But right now I'm more focused on the company.
yeah,
But I want to make the personal, or sorry, the brand itself, my company, Device Buyers. I want to make it like big. I want to make that have a lot of value, the
of
company.
course, love that.
Yep.
Yeah, so let's jump into what you're doing now because you're getting a location. You're doing it strategically as well. Let's talk a little bit about that because I know some people are going to ask. You know, they're going to be like, you know, "Are you getting a store or whatever?" So you're actually partnering with that
Yeah.
shoe store.
I might be. It's not 100% guaranteed. I might be partnering with a shoe store near me, and he might split off space for me in that store to kind of partner together. And I might either go there by paying him commission or a flat fee per month. I'm not exactly sure yet at this moment. I'm gonna keep Chris updated though, and we'll definitely see how that goes. I think it'll be great. It's just interesting. I'm gonna have to see how I'm gonna make the transition because right now I, meet with a bunch of people in Tyson's Corner, Virginia, like 30 minutes from me. Those are like my suppliers. So I might hire someone to go out to pick those up while I'm managing the store. I'm thinking and brainstorming how it's gonna work.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, I mean, you got enough connections now. Like, I mean, and that's the real game, right? Like, a lot of people come up differently in this space. I came up specifically from ads, right? Like, I just threw money at the wall, made a lot of connections, and that's how it worked. Like that. I mean, that's just what I did.
It's true. No, it's true.
So
Yeah, for real.
it's funny how people can win, right? Like you did it through the reach out game. Like you just had a ton of conversations very quickly over the course, I mean, what do you probably have over the course of like the last 3 months? 5,000-6,000 total reach outs?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's slowed down now.
Okay, yeah, of course it's gonna slow down because now
Maybe like 4.8 or like 5,000, something like that.
okay. So if baseline, like if you hit up 5,000 people, you can create a $10,000 a month business if you're doing the referral game, if you're doing things like that. Like it's not that hard. Like if you're having thousands,
Making 10K a month in this business, I'm not gonna lie, bro, it's easy.
yeah,
It's much easier, I would say, than trying to like, go through college to start your own business and like taking all that time to get hired for 70K a year and then up yourself, bonus after. But like honestly, bro, this business is when I say easy to make 10,000, I'm putting it in comparison to other jobs. It's not easy. You got to work hard. You got to be disciplined. You got to be extremely focused and robotic and mathematical. But it's easy if you put the work in compared to other industries, I'd say.
Yeah. In fact, I would say that the other industry you're talking about, traditional jobs, people want to always, blast on the internet and be like, this is a pyramid scheme. Somebody tell me traditional jobs aren't a pyramid scheme almost all the time,
Yeah,
right? Everybody's trying to climb to the top. And you know what? There's a ceiling there to limit everyone's potential, earning potential, your influence, your vision, and capacity, what you might want to do with your life as a career. And I think that that is a very fascinating question to have because I think that that is the ceiling. Like that's the frustration that really provoked you to move into this
yeah,
space. Is like you saw where you wanted to go personally, and you saw, oh well, in terms of career, the trail that I'm headed down doesn't seem to be leading. There's a fork in the road here. What am I going to do?
yeah.
And I think for a lot of people that hear this, I hope that they take this into consideration when they hear your story and
For
reflect on
sure.
their own, and also hear Chris's or mine, and they can think, you know what, I'm not powerless. Like I have a say so in what the outcome of my life looks like in terms of the time freedom or financial freedom that I'd like to have. Um, you can't unsee flipping a phone and making it easy, like 150, $200 after you flip something. You can't when
out
you're
of the
when you're
matrix, bro.
yeah, when you're being paid, when your time is being exchanged for dollars. um it's a mind flip, but it's pretty dope that within 90 days, um essentially, I come from the teaching world. You've pretty much made like a beginner's like teacher's salary, within 90 days, Navon.
Yeah. There's
And
a
I mean,
process.
yeah, yeah, I think you're still catching up with the success you're having, but I think that's great too, because I think once you run past those limiting beliefs, like they just don't even really they don't even really come back to bother you anymore. You just got to take that momentum and keep going, and
Absolutely.
it's really great.
And one thing I wanted to mention too is a lot of people have a wrong sense of what stability actually is. A lot of people think going the corporate way and, working for the government, these things are all great, and there's nothing wrong with it, I would necessarily say. But true stability doesn't come through that. True stability is being able to have your own business that you can't get fired from. You can't get fired from your own company, and a lot of people have
Yeah.
major issues, and I feel so bad that they get laid off and get treated like trash from their bosses. Are you kidding me? It's like that fired me up and it made me very excited to go into this business. And for anyone else wanting to go into this business, think about the freedom of it. You don't have to depend on anybody but your own work ethic. Because if you're, having to depend, I personally can't stand the idea of it. The idea of getting laid off from all the hard years of work that I put in to get to that position, just to get laid off because they didn't meet their budget for that, you know, quarter.
Mhm.
Like that to me, it's like, bro, we should be striving for other things, really. And, if you are working for a company, do something else on the side that's your own business. Everyone can, I think it's manageable to work two jobs at once. You know what I'm saying? A lot
Yeah.
of people do it. Have a backup. If you are going to go that way, also have a backup. Flipping phones can be perfect for side income. It can be perfect for full time, and it's not just flipping phones, but devices in general. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm reminded of the importance of a side hustle every time I go to the grocery store. Um, right, Chris?
When
Hey, and
Boston
can I?
I went and bought some things yesterday. It was $91 at the grocery store.
Bruh, don't get me
Well, at
started.
least I'm glad I flipped some stuff today, you know? Like,
Dude, for real. Insane. And I gotta say, this is like a comedic interlude here, but you guys ever go to the gym and then you have that guy who's like occupying the bench press and he stays on the bench and he's like 15 minutes between sets just staring at his phone?
Oh yeah,
Like
all the time.
everybody know that broccoli head out there?
yep,
Anyway,
got him. Yep.
all right, just had to get that one out.
Yeah. So, could probably come to the end of this one, but is there anything you were looking at this gig for 2 years? Am I right? You were looking at it for 2 years. There's a lot of people just like you that have been looking at this, that have been in and out. What can you tell those people, dude? Like, how do they like get off the sidelines and just like get started? Like,
Stop being a victim. That's it. Stop being a victim. Stop feeling sorry for yourself. Do it. Pick up your phone. Hit people up. Hit Chris up. This program's $79 a month. You can work at McDonald's. And
79. What program are you in?
oh no, it's not the beginning one, right? With the website.
Oh yeah. You can
Yeah, he has
Starter
one you can't
Oh, you're
afford
talking
to
about
have.
Resell Deck. Okay,
Resell Deck, the platform itself.
yeah, 97. Yeah,
$97 a month.
yeah.
Sorry. Yeah, you can work at McDonald's. If you don't have any money and you can get that, some good information, and then you can be part of the community and ask questions and grow. Just start. Stop moping, stop crying, stop feeling sorry for yourself. That's it. That's all I have to say. It's straight discipline. There's no type of like motivating words I could give you other than my results, being honest. I was in the same exact position as a lot of you probably who are watching this. And all it takes is you just doing, not talking, just doing. That's it.
What do you say to the people that say there's too much competition in my area or it's saturated?
Yeah, I'm right next to Washington, D.C., buddy. As competitive as it gets. And one thing I'll tell you, just like in any type of sales team, any type of job position that has some type of commission scheme to it, the only way you're going to make it is by working harder than the other people around you. Like, bro, these people, there's a lot of competition near me, but they're not hitting up 100 people a day. They're not trying to focus on the image of their company. They don't have even a name for their website. They don't nothing. Like they don't have any type of funnel. They don't have any type of community. 98% of these people. Some of these people are just running Facebook ads from a free YouTube video they saw online and are trying to like do something. Yeah, bro, it's really just takes you working harder than those around you. And I can guarantee you'll become successful.
I learned my lesson about competition in this industry really quickly whenever I started calling my competition. Like the Craigslist ad people and the people on Facebook Marketplace. I learned really quickly that number one, they don't answer the phone. Number two, like if you hit them up and text them or whatever, a lot of them will message you back and be like, who is this? Like, guys, there's right. Not competition. Like,
oh man,
it's wild. Like how open this is right now. And if you're willing to just, Hormozy always talks about it. Volume negates luck, right? Like if you just put in more volume than everybody, you're going to win by default.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's very hard to lose when you're hitting 100 people a day.
Mm-hmm. And eventually that translates to you not having to do that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Which is
you can also cool. You can have a bad strategy and still do like heavy volume and still win. Like you can fail your way into success. Yeah. If you take that path. And I think that's
I made a video about that a little while back because I had somebody reach out and they were like, dude, Chris, I'm doing like 5 reach outs today. And I'm like, okay. And like, I don't know what it was.
Somebody 5 reach outs a day.
Somebody pissed me off and they were getting mad because they weren't
like -1 devices you're gonna get per day.
I know.
Mom, dad, my 2 brothers.
They reached out and like I made a video in response as a rant. And I was like, look, if you just like go to Marketplace and you just hit hi, is this available 50 times a day, the likelihood that you don't make money is low. Like,
Oh yeah, it's very low. Yeah.
that is the base level of like, if you
Mhm.
just do that, like it's just a conversation game. Like if you have 50 or even 25 conversations a day, it's very hard to lose. The thing
Yeah,
about
25, you're gonna get 1 to 2 people. Like,
it, yeah, it's a 5% close rate most of the time.
yeah,
So it's like, and then the thing is like if you follow up with those people that you had a conversation with, they're gonna the likelihood that they're gonna sell to you is even higher because you followed up with them. You're a real business owner. You're legit.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
If you buy them a Starbucks drink and don't act like an a-hole, you're probably going to make more money,
buy
right?
them their gas, yeah, things like
yeah.
that.
For
So
sure.
well,
It kind of
um,
got to the point too where like when you start doing so many reach outs and you get all your connections, you're gonna start finding better buyers for your devices, which
yeah,
means less negotiation because people naturally are gonna be posting prices within your price range.
yep,
And you could just have it automated. Yeah.
yeah, wild, like good stuff, dude. Well, um, let me see, Matt. Is there any other questions you have, dude, before we wrap this thing up?
No, I appreciate you coming on, Yvonne. Thanks for taking some time out of your day and sharing this with not just with us, but everybody that will hear this. I know a lot of people will stand to benefit from your story and your personal experience. And man, I'm excited to see what the future holds for you and for you to address the nuances of that next learning curve with marketing and expansion. So that's pretty cool.
My man's on
Um,
his way to being a direct buyer for the whole industry.
for sure. Um,
We're gonna
for
be
those,
selling him. We'll be recommending him pretty soon.
yeah, for those of you that are wrapping up this podcast and have made it this far, I just want to say thank you. Hey, there is a console course that will be dropping here this coming week,
Yep.
and
Tune
would
in.
love to be able to entreat you guys to the experience of what it means to get some of the best ROIs in the game. I think anybody can do this. I think it is one of the most understated opportunities to buy and resell electronics. And so if you want to learn to buy and resell video games, which are freaking fun, but also really great to resell, then we can hook you up. And so check it out.
Yeah, July 2nd, just so you guys are aware, 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. We already have, we're getting close to capacity, I think, on registrations. So make sure to sign up for that. That's like what, 2 years in the making now, the course, Matt?
Well, been reselling consoles for just about 5 years and teaching this for content for 2 years. So yeah, it's a lot of time, effort, and energy invested, but it's going to be all worth it.
Well, Navon, I appreciate you coming on, man. I'll have to
Yes,
do
you
this
guys
again
invited me.
once you make over 100,000.
100,000?
Probably be like 3 months. So
3 months, yeah, hopefully. That'd be great.
Yeah.
So
Sick.
6-figure flipper here, guys. He'll by this time next year he'll be doing 200,000-300,000 just like Brandon is. So
Yeah.
Yeah. So see you guys later. Appreciate you guys watching, and we'll see you guys next week.